Some story titles just send a chill down your spine, don't they? This is definitely one of them. We're about to dive into a story that popped up online for just a few hours before it completely vanished, leaving behind a whole lot of really scary questions. So, what you're about to hear is based on a confession posted anonymously by someone who claims they lived through something, well, something straight out of a nightmare. We've changed the names to protect them, but the pattern of events they describe, that's what's so incredibly unsettling. The post had a simple, terrifying title. I shared an apartment with a dead man. It was up for just a couple of hours and then, poof, wiped from the internet. You have to wonder, right? Was the person who wrote it just scared? Or was he silenced? And the craziest part, this whole unbelievable ordeal starts from the most normal, everyday situation you can possibly imagine. A college student just trying to make rent. Okay, so meet Daniel Hayes. He's 23, a computer science student, and a total introvert. You know the type. His life is pretty much a loop. Classes, coding, his part-time job, maybe some gaming. But the rent for his quiet little off-campus apartment was getting to be too much. He needed a roommate. So Daniel posts an ad online, and pretty quickly he gets this message. It's short, straight to the point, and even has a scanned government ID attached. The guy makes 3 simple promises. I am quiet, I pay on time, and I don't cause trouble. I mean, for a student like Daniel, that's the jackpot, right? The message was from a man named Aaron. So Aaron moves in. And honestly, at first, it's all good. Everything seems totally normal. But as the days stretch into weeks, Daniel starts to realize he knows absolutely nothing about his new roommate. And some really, really unsettling little details start to bubble up to the surface. You know, when they first met, Aaron's handshake was just ice cold. And his smile? It didn't feel real. It felt practiced. He barely said a word. He just watched. Daniel kind of brushed it off, figured he was just another quiet, maybe awkward guy. He really didn't think much more of it. For the first couple weeks, totally normal. Rent was on time, Aaron kept to himself. But then a weird pattern starts. Daniel realizes Aaron is always awake, sitting in the dark living room at like 4 a.m. Then he notices Aaron is always reading newspapers. And then it clicks. He's only reading one section, the obituaries. Circling names, taking notes, it's just bizarre. So one night, Daniel's just trying to break the weird silence, and he jokingly asks him about it. You know, why are you so interested in death? He had absolutely no idea what he was about to unleash. Aaron's response wasn't a joke. It was cold, and it was so weirdly specific. He just looks at Daniel and says, when people die, they create gaps in the system, and these gaps are useful. I mean, what do you even say to that? Daniel was so thrown off, he just dropped it and walked away. A few weeks go by, and then a story breaks on the local news. And suddenly, Aaron's strange little hobby doesn't just feel weird anymore, it feels sinister. The news is all over it. A 38-year-old freelance photographer, a guy named Neil Carter, has just vanished, last seen down in the city's industrial district. Daniel sees it on the news and mentions it to Aaron, just making small talk. But Aaron's reaction, it isn't surprise or worry, it's analytical. He makes this weirdly specific comment about how freelancers have a scattered record, which makes them really hard to trace if they go missing. He sounded less like a concerned roommate and more like an expert. And then, just 2 days later, the police find a body. And the killer, my God, the killer went to extreme lengths to make sure this person could never be identified. The face was destroyed, the fingers were gone, even the teeth were broken out, a total erasure. For Daniel, that little seed of suspicion that's been growing is about to explode into pure, absolute terror, all because one night Aaron makes one tiny, careless mistake. Daniel gets home from class, and there on the kitchen table is Aaron's wallet, just left open. He knows he shouldn't look, right? It's a total violation of privacy. But all that fear, all that suspicion that had been building up for weeks, it just took over. He had to see. And what he finds just completely shatters his reality. Inside the wallet is an ID card. The name on it? Neil Carter, the missing photographer. But the picture is of Aaron, just with a different haircut. Daniel is absolutely terrified, but he knows he has to find out what is going on. So that night, he secretly follows Aaron, who drives all the way out to the industrial district, the exact same area where Neil Carter was last seen. He watches as Aaron goes inside an old, rundown warehouse. Peeking through a dirty window, Daniel sees something methodical, horrifying. Aaron has another man tied to a chair, and this isn't some chaotic attack. It's a process, a checklist. He's recording the man's life story, testing his pain threshold, and then beginning the systematic erasure of his identity, all while casually sending texts from the victim's phone to keep friends and family from worrying. After seeing that, Daniel just runs. He gets away and makes an anonymous call to the police. But this killer is just as careful about his escape as he is about his crimes. By the time the police raid the warehouse, it's empty. And I mean, scrubbed clean. Not a trace. Daniel goes back to his apartment with an officer, completely terrified, only to find that Aaron and every single thing he ever owned is gone. It's like he was never even there. Well, almost every trace. Aaron left one thing behind for him. Sitting on the now empty kitchen table was a newspaper, folded to the obituary section. And there, circled in bright red ink, was Daniel's own name. A clear, unmistakable threat. So the police start digging, and they uncover this absolutely terrifying pattern. This guy, whoever he is, he's not new at this. He operates on this chillingly precise cycle. He finds the identity of someone who just died, moves to a new city, and just lays low for 9 to 12 months, scoking out his next target. Then, in a single night, he kills them, erases their identity, and vanishes, to start the whole thing over again somewhere else. Daniel does the only thing he can think to do. He disappears, leaves town, changes his name, starts seeing a therapist, just trying to piece his life back together. But you can't just run from a ghost. Some time passes, Daniel's in a new apartment, a new city, a new life. And then one day, he checks his mail, and there's a single, plain white envelope waiting for him. Inside is a photo. It's of him, taken just a few days ago, unpacking boxes in what was supposed to be his secret new apartment. And on the back, a message is written. A bone-chilling message. The killer wasn't just threatening Daniel. He was watching him, studying him. And that's it. That's where the original post just cuts off, leaving us with this awful, haunting question. Was Daniel Hayes just another target on a list? Or was the killer grooming him, studying him, getting ready to make Daniel Hayes his next costume? The story just vanishes, and we'll never really know the answer.